Hello and welcome. It is good to have you here. Maybe it is late at night. Maybe your day has finally become quiet. Maybe you are lying comfortably in your bed, listening through your headphones while the world around you slowly becomes still. There is nothing you need to do right now. You do not need to study. You do not need to take notes. You do not need to remember every word. You can simply listen. Let the English words move gently through your mind. There is no test here. There is no pressure. There is no need to be perfect. This is simply a quiet time to be around English. English is a language, and languages become familiar through contact. The more often you hear English, the more natural it can begin to feel. At first, some words may sound unfamiliar. Some sentences may seem too fast. Some expressions may seem strange. But with time, the sounds become familiar. A word that once sounded new can eventually sound ordinary. A sentence that once required concentration can eventually be understood without effort. This is a natural part of language learning. You do not have to force it. You simply need regular contact with the language. And tonight, you are giving yourself that contact. English is everywhere. It is in conversations. It is in songs. It is in films. It is in books. It is in messages. It is in advertisements. It is in airports, restaurants, hotels, offices, schools, shops, and streets. English is used to share ideas, feelings, experiences, stories, questions, opinions, and everyday moments. And because English is part of so many situations, learning it is not only about memorizing words, it is about becoming familiar with the way people communicate. It is about recognizing patterns. It is about hearing how words connect. It is about understanding meaning from context. And slowly, it is about becoming comfortable with the language. Perhaps you have experienced a moment when you understood an English sentence without translating it. Maybe it was a very simple sentence. Maybe you heard someone say, "I am tired," and you immediately understood the meaning. You did not need to think about your first language. You simply understood. That small moment is important because language becomes easier when meaning connects directly with English. Instead of thinking about one language and then changing it into another, your mind begins to understand the English itself. This process takes time. It cannot be rushed, but it can be encouraged through regular listening. That is why calm listening is valuable. You hear English again and again. You hear familiar words. You hear familiar sentence patterns. You hear the same expressions in different situations. And gradually, your brain begins to notice them. A language can feel difficult when every sentence is new. But when familiar patterns begin appearing again and again, the language becomes easier. You may hear a phrase today. You may hear it again tomorrow. You may hear it in a different video next week. And eventually, the phrase becomes part of your understanding. This is how familiarity grows. Quietly, naturally, little by little. There are many words in English. Thousands and thousands of words, but you do not need to know every word to communicate well. Everyday English uses many common words repeatedly. Words like time, day, people, place, thing, work, home, life, family, friend, money, food, water, room, morning, night, way, problem, idea, question, answer, and world. These simple words are powerful because they appear everywhere. You hear them in conversations. You see them in writing. You hear them in stories. You use them when describing your own life. The more familiar these common words become, the more comfortable English begins to feel. Then there are everyday verbs: go, come, make, take, give, get, want, need, know, think, feel, look, see, hear, find, keep, try, help, start, stop, move, live, work, learn, remember, forget, understand. These words may look simple, but simple words create thousands of sentences. I want some water. I need some help. I think you're right. I don't know. I understand. I forgot. I remember. I'll try. I'll help you. I'll call you later. These are ordinary sentences, but ordinary sentences are exactly what make up everyday communication. You do not need complicated English to express yourself. You need familiar English. You need English that feels comfortable. And comfort comes from repetition. When you hear the same words many times, they begin to require less attention. Your mind starts recognizing them automatically. This is similar to what happens with familiar sounds in your daily life. You do not consciously analyze the sound of your refrigerator. You do not think carefully about the sound of rain. You do not study every sound your home makes. You simply recognize them. Language can become familiar in a similar way. At first, English is something you actively notice. Later, parts of English can become something you simply recognize. That is one of the most beautiful parts of learning a language. You slowly move from effort toward familiarity, from familiarity toward comfort, and from comfort toward natural communication. Perhaps you sometimes feel that your English is not improving. You study. You listen. You learn new words. And yet, some days you feel like you are standing in the same place. That feeling is normal. Language learning is not always visible. Progress does not happen in a perfectly straight line. Sometimes you learn something today and do not notice its importance. Then, weeks later, you hear the same expression and understand it immediately. The progress was happening quietly. Your brain was building connections. This is why patience matters. Imagine planting a small seed. You put it into the soil. You give it water. You give it sunlight. But you do not see a large plant immediately. For some time, it seems like nothing is happening. But underneath the soil, something is happening. Roots are growing. The process is invisible. Language learning can be like that. You listen. You hear. You notice. You forget. You hear again. You recognize something. You use it later. You hear it again. And slowly, connections become stronger. So if your English sometimes feels slow, do not assume that nothing is happening. Slow progress is still progress. A language is not built in one day. It grows through thousands of small moments. A few minutes of listening, a short conversation, a new expression, a familiar sentence, a story, a song, a message, a video, a quiet night of listening. Each moment adds something. And the beautiful thing is that you do not need every moment to be perfect. You only need to keep returning to English. English can become part of your environment. You can hear it while walking. You can hear it while traveling. You can hear it while cooking. You can hear it while relaxing. And you can hear it while resting. The important thing is that English becomes something familiar rather than something distant. When a language feels distant, every sentence can feel like work. When a language becomes familiar, understanding becomes easier. Think about your first language. You do not usually stop and think about every grammatical structure. You simply communicate. You know what sounds natural. You know when something feels strange. You recognize common expressions. You understand jokes, emotions, and meanings that are not directly explained. This kind of knowledge develops through enormous amounts of exposure. English can become more natural in the same way. You may not become completely fluent overnight, but every time you listen, you are giving your brain another opportunity to recognize English. And recognition is important. Perhaps you hear, "How was your day?" Maybe you already know that sentence. How was your day? It is a simple question, but it is also a very useful pattern. How was your morning? How was your trip? How was your weekend? How was your meeting? The pattern stays similar. Only a small part changes. This is one reason sentence patterns are so useful. You do not have to build every sentence from nothing. You begin to recognize structures. I would like to, I'm going to, I'm trying to, I'm looking for, I don't know, I think, I feel, I remember. These patterns appear everywhere. They become familiar through repeated exposure. And once a pattern becomes familiar, many new sentences become easier to understand. Consider the phrase, I'm looking for. I'm looking for my phone. I'm looking for a hotel. I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for the station. I'm looking for something to eat. The structure remains familiar. The situation changes. This is how English works in real life. People reuse language. They do not create completely new sentences every time they speak. They rely on familiar patterns. And the more patterns you hear, the more natural English can become. Another useful pattern is, I'd like to order some food. I'd like to ask a question. I'd like to learn English. I'd like to speak more confidently. I'd like to visit London. Again, the structure stays familiar. Your brain begins to recognize it as a whole. This is much more natural than thinking about every individual word separately. The goal is not to memorize thousands of isolated pieces. The goal is to become familiar with English as connected language. Words belong together. Sentences belong together. Ideas belong together. Stories connect everything. That is why listening to stories can be so powerful. A story gives words a place. Instead of hearing random vocabulary, you hear language connected to events. Someone wakes up. They make breakfast. They leave home. They meet a friend. They travel somewhere. They have a problem. They find a solution. They return home. The words become connected to meaning, and connected information is easier to remember. Imagine a quiet morning. The sun is coming through the window. The room is peaceful. Someone wakes up slowly. They look at the clock. It is 7 a.m. They get out of bed. They open the curtains. The street outside is quiet. A few cars are moving. The air feels fresh. They walk into the kitchen. They make a cup of coffee. They sit near the window. They think about the day ahead. There is work to do. There are people to meet. There are things to finish. But for a moment, everything is calm. This kind of simple story contains many useful English expressions. Wake up. Get out of bed. Open the curtains. Look outside. Make coffee. Sit near the window. Think about the day. These are everyday expressions. They describe ordinary life. And ordinary life is where useful English lives. You do not always need advanced vocabulary. You need language that helps you describe your world, your home, your work, your family, your plans, your feelings, your experiences, your hopes, your problems, your interests. The more easily you can talk about these things, the more useful your English becomes, and confidence grows from usefulness. When you know how to express simple ideas, you begin feeling less afraid. You may not speak perfectly. You may make mistakes, but you can communicate. And communication is the purpose of language. Perfection is not the purpose. Understanding is more important. Connection is more important. Being able to express yourself is more important. Many English learners become nervous because they compare themselves with fluent speakers. They hear someone speaking quickly. They hear advanced vocabulary. They hear perfect pronunciation. And they think, I will never sound like that. But every fluent speaker was once a beginner. every confident speaker once struggled with simple sentences. Every large vocabulary began with a small number of words. Progress comes from continuing. You do not have to become someone else. You simply become a stronger version of yourself in English. Your accent may remain part of your voice. That is okay. Your pronunciation can improve. Your vocabulary can grow. Your grammar can become stronger. Your confidence can increase. But your English does not need to erase who you are. English is a tool. It is a way to connect. It is a way to communicate your thoughts. It is a way to meet people from different places. It is a way to discover information. It can open doors to new experiences. And learning, it can be a long, enjoyable journey. There will be days when English feels easy. There will also be days when English feels difficult. Some days you may understand almost everything. Other days, even familiar words may feel difficult. That does not mean you have lost your progress. Your ability has not disappeared. Your brain simply has different levels of energy and attention. Just as your body feels different from one day to another, your mind can feel different too. Be patient with yourself. A difficult day does not erase months of learning. A forgotten word does not mean you failed. Forgetting is part of learning. When you forget something and later encounter it again, the second exposure can be powerful. You recognize it. You think, I have heard this before. Then you hear it again. And again. Eventually, it stays. Repetition is not boring to the brain. Repetition builds familiarity. A musician repeats. An athlete repeats. A child repeats. Language learners repeat. The same basic idea appears again and again. Practice creates familiarity. Familiarity creates confidence. Confidence makes communication easier, and communication creates more opportunities to practice. It becomes a cycle. Listen, understand, use. Listen again, understand more, use more, become more comfortable. This is how language grows. And tonight, there is no need to rush through that process. You can simply allow English to surround you. Let the sounds become familiar. Let the sentences pass through your attention. You may remember some of them. You may forget others. That is completely fine. You do not need to hold on to every sentence. Your brain can notice things without you consciously remembering them. Sometimes a phrase becomes familiar long before you realize that you have learned it. One day you hear it again, and suddenly it feels natural. This is why regular exposure is so valuable. English does not always need to be intense. It can be gentle. It can be part of your routine. It can become a quiet background presence in your life. And over time, that quiet presence can make a difference. Think about the phrase, take your time. It means there is no need to hurry. Take your time. It is a simple phrase, but it carries a feeling. Another useful expression is, don't worry, don't worry. People use it when someone is concerned. Another is, it's okay, it's okay. These short expressions appear constantly in everyday English. That's fine, no problem. Of course, sounds good. See you later. Take care. Have a good day. These are small pieces of language, but they are part of real communication. English becomes easier when these common expressions feel familiar. You do not need to analyze them every time. You simply recognize them. And that is the direction we want to move toward. Less analysis, more familiarity, less fear, more comfort, less pressure, more natural understanding. Perhaps you sometimes translate everything in your head. You hear an English sentence. You change it into your first language. Then you understand it. This can be useful in the beginning, but eventually you want English to connect directly with meaning. If you hear rain, you can imagine rain. You do not always need another word between the sound and the meaning. If you hear coffee, you can imagine a warm cup. If you hear beach, you can imagine sand, water, sunlight, and waves. If you hear home, you can imagine a familiar place. If you hear tired, you can understand the feeling. This direct connection becomes stronger with exposure, and it makes English faster. Instead of translating everything, you begin understanding. This can also help when people speak naturally. Native speakers do not usually separate every word. Sounds connect. Words become shorter. Some sounds disappear. Some expressions become very familiar. For example, what are you doing? In natural conversation, the words may sound connected. How are you? Did you eat? Do you want to come? Are you ready? Where are you going? These sentences are simple, but hearing them repeatedly helps you become comfortable with natural English. Listening teaches your ears how English really sounds. And when your ears become more familiar with English, speaking can become easier too. Your mouth begins to follow patterns your ears already know. This is why listening is not passive in the way many people imagine. Listening gives your brain information. It gives your ears examples. It gives your mind patterns. It gives you a sense of rhythm. English has rhythm. English has stress. English has melody. A sentence can sound different depending on emotion. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. The words are the same, but the emphasis can change the meaning. This is something that grows through listening. You become familiar with how people naturally express feelings: surprise, happiness, doubt, excitement, anger, calmness, curiosity, confidence. Language is not only vocabulary, it is also emotion. That is why stories and conversations are useful. They give language life. A dictionary can tell you what a word means, but listening can show you how the word lives inside a sentence. For example, the word actually. You might hear, actually, I don't agree. Actually, I was there yesterday. Actually, it's much easier than I expected. The word appears in different situations, and gradually, you begin understanding how people use it. The same happens with words like probably, usually, really, especially, already, still, almost, maybe. These words are common. They make English sound more natural. You do not need to master them all immediately. Just become familiar with them, hear them, notice them. Let them appear again and again. Over time, they become part of your understanding. Another important part of English is describing time. Today, tomorrow, yesterday, this morning, tonight, later, soon, already, still, recently, sometimes, usually, always, never, often. These words help you explain when things happen. I'll call you later. I already finished. I haven't eaten yet. I usually wake up early. I sometimes work late. I never drink coffee at night. Simple sentences can communicate a lot. And simple sentences are powerful because you can actually use them. You can talk about your routine. I wake up at 7. I have breakfast. I go to work. I come home in the evening. I usually watch something before bed. These sentences may look basic, but they describe real life, and real life English is useful English. As your vocabulary grows, your sentences become richer. I usually wake up early, but today I was tired. I wanted to go outside, but it started raining. I was planning to call you, but I got busy. Notice how familiar structures connect. But, because, so, although, and, an, after, before. These small connecting words help your English flow. You do not need thousands of complicated grammar rules to begin expressing ideas. You need familiar structures. English grows one connection at a time, and every time you hear a sentence, you are exposed to another connection. Maybe you hear, I stayed home because it was raining. Then, I stayed home because I was tired. Then, I stayed home because I didn't feel well. The structure becomes familiar. You begin understanding the relationship between the ideas. This is how grammar can become natural. Instead of memorizing every rule first, you hear the patterns in real language. Over time, the patterns become easier to recognize. Grammar still matters. Vocabulary matters. Pronunciation matters. But none of them need to be frightening. Grammar is simply one way of describing patterns that already exist in the language. When you hear enough English, many patterns begin to feel familiar. You may not know the grammatical name. You may not remember the rule, but you may know that one sentence sounds natural and another sounds strange. That feeling develops through exposure. Your brain becomes sensitive to patterns. This is one reason children can develop strong language intuition. They hear language constantly. They hear the same structures in thousands of situations. Adults can build that familiarity too. It simply takes time and consistent exposure. So give yourself time. Let English become familiar. There is no need to rush. Imagine a quiet evening. The day is finished. The lights are soft. The room is comfortable. Outside, the streets are becoming quiet. There may be distant traffic. There may be rain. There may be wind. Inside, everything feels peaceful. You are listening to English. The words arrive slowly. Some are familiar. Some are new. Some disappear from your attention almost immediately. That is okay. You can simply let them pass. You do not need to catch every word. You do not need to remember every sentence. The language can continue in the background. And while you rest, your brain can continue hearing the rhythm of English. Learning a language is not only about intense concentration, it is also about familiarity, the sound of English, the rhythm of English, the common phrases, the repeated structures, the everyday vocabulary, the feeling of understanding. All of these things matter. Maybe tomorrow you will hear a sentence from this session somewhere else. Maybe you will recognize a phrase. Maybe you will understand it faster. That recognition is valuable. It means English is becoming more familiar. Perhaps you will hear someone say, "I'm not sure," and immediately understand. Then, let me think about it. You understand. I'll get back to you. You understand. That makes sense. You understand. I agree with you. You understand. I don't think so. You understand. These are natural expressions. They appear in conversations every day. The more you hear them, the more ordinary they become. And eventually, ordinary English is exactly what you want. You want English to feel normal. You want to hear it without fear. You want conversations to feel less overwhelming. You want to understand the general meaning, even when you miss a word. This is an important skill. You do not need to understand every word to understand a conversation. Context helps. Tone helps. The situation helps. The words around an unfamiliar word can help. Imagine someone says, "I forgot my umbrella, so I got completely soaked." Even if you do not know the word soaked, the context gives you clues. There was rain. There was no umbrella. Something happened to the person. Over time, you can understand the meaning. This is how real language learning often happens. You encounter something unfamiliar. You understand part of it. The context gives you information. Later, you hear the word again. The meaning becomes clearer. Eventually, the word becomes familiar. You do not need to stop every time you encounter something new. You can keep listening. You can allow context to help you. This is especially important for long listening sessions. You may understand one part very clearly. Another part may pass without much attention. That is fine. You are not expected to capture everything. The purpose is continued exposure, continued familiarity, continued contact. And that is enough. Perhaps you are already becoming sleepy. That is perfectly okay. You can let the English continue around you. There is no need to fight sleep. There is no need to stay awake just to finish the session. Rest is important. Your brain needs rest. Your body needs rest. And sleep is a natural part of life. You can create a calm environment where English becomes part of your evening routine. A quiet room, a comfortable bed, soft lighting, a peaceful voice, simple English, repeated phrases, gentle explanations. This can make English feel less like a school subject and more like a familiar part of daily life. And perhaps that is one of the best ways to think about language learning. Not as a mountain you must climb, not as an exam you must pass, but as something you gradually live with. You hear English, you see English, you use English, you think about English, you return to English, and slowly, English becomes more familiar. One day, you may notice that you understand something without trying. Someone speaks, you understand. A video plays, you follow the story. A message arrives, you read it comfortably. Someone asks a question, you answer without thinking too much. Those moments can seem small, but together, they represent enormous progress. Confidence is often built from small experiences. You understand one sentence, then another. You successfully explain something. You understand a joke. You order something. You ask for directions. You have a short conversation. You make a mistake. You continue anyway. Each experience tells your brain, English is okay. I can handle this. I can understand. I can communicate. That feeling becomes stronger over time. And when confidence grows, fear becomes smaller. Many learners know more English than they think. The problem is not always knowledge. Sometimes the problem is confidence. They know the words. They understand the sentence. But they are afraid to make a mistake. They worry about pronunciation. They worry about grammar. They worry about what another person will think. But communication does not require perfection. People make mistakes in every language. Even fluent speakers sometimes forget words. Even native speakers change sentences halfway through. Even experienced speakers say something incorrectly and correct themselves. That is normal communication. So your English can be imperfect and still be successful. Your sentence can have a small mistake and still communicate the idea. Your accent can be different and still be clear. Your vocabulary can be limited and still be useful. The goal is not to sound like a textbook. The goal is to communicate. And communication becomes easier when you allow yourself to use the language. This is why listening and speaking support each other. Listening gives you examples. Speaking gives you experience. Reading gives you more exposure. Writing gives you another way to organize your thoughts. Together, these experiences build a stronger relationship with English. But tonight, there is no need to do everything. Tonight is simply listening. Just English. Calm English. Natural English. Repeated English. Letting your ears become familiar with the sounds. There are many sounds in English that may have felt difficult in the beginning. The difference between certain vowel sounds, the soft sounds, the strong sounds, the connected sounds, the rhythm of a sentence. But your ears become better with exposure. You begin hearing differences that you could not hear before. This is an important part of pronunciation. Before you can produce a sound comfortably, you often need to recognize it. Listening trains recognition. Recognition supports pronunciation. And pronunciation becomes easier with familiarity. Again, there is no need to rush. A language is a long journey. There will always be another word to learn, another expression to discover, another accent to understand, another type of conversation, another story. That is not a problem. That is what makes language interesting. Even fluent speakers continue learning. There are regional expressions, informal expressions, professional expressions, cultural references, idioms, new words. Language keeps changing, so fluency does not mean knowing everything. Fluency means being comfortable enough to continue. You can encounter something unfamiliar and remain calm. You can hear a word you do not know and continue listening. You can make a mistake and continue speaking. You can meet someone with a different accent and slowly adjust. You can read something difficult and understand the main idea. This flexibility is a powerful part of language ability, and it grows with experience. Every conversation gives you experience. Every story gives you experience. Every listening session gives you experience. Every small exposure matters. Perhaps you have been learning English for a long time. Perhaps you have just started. Perhaps you understand a lot but struggle to speak. Perhaps you can speak but want to improve your listening. Perhaps you know many words but sometimes cannot find the right one. Whatever your situation, there is room to grow. And growth does not have to be dramatic. One new phrase, one clearer sentence, one easier conversation, one moment of understanding, one less moment of hesitation. Small changes add up. Imagine looking back after a year. You may not remember every listening session. You may not remember every word, but you may notice that English feels different. You understand more quickly. You recognize more expressions. You feel more comfortable. You need less translation. You are less afraid of mistakes. You can follow conversations more easily. This is what consistent exposure can create. Not one giant transformation, many small changes, day after day, week after week, month after month. And then, one day, you notice the difference. That is why consistency matters more than intensity. A small amount of English regularly can be more useful than a huge amount once and then nothing for weeks. Language needs repeated contact. It needs familiarity. It needs time. So create a relationship with English that you can maintain. Listen regularly. Enjoy the language. Choose topics you like. Listen to stories. Listen to conversations. Listen while traveling. Listen while relaxing. And sometimes, simply listen while resting. The important thing is to keep English around you. Let it become familiar. Let it become ordinary. Let it become part of your life. And perhaps one day you will realize that you no longer think of English as something you are studying. You simply use it. You watch something in English because you enjoy it. You read something in English because you are interested. You speak English because you want to communicate. You listen to English because it feels normal. That is a beautiful stage of learning. The language becomes a tool rather than a subject. It becomes part of your daily life. And now, as the night becomes quieter, you can simply continue listening. There is nothing else you need to accomplish. English is already around you. The words are flowing. Some are familiar. Some are familiar. Some may disappear from your attention almost immediately. That is okay. Let them pass. Let the sounds become part of the background. English can be calm. English can be gentle. English can be familiar. You do not need to force every word into your memory. Your brain is capable of noticing patterns over time. A phrase today. The same phrase tomorrow. Another example next week. Eventually, it becomes natural. That is how many things are learned. Through repetition, through experience, through time, and through patience. So remember the simple idea. You do not need to learn everything today. You only need to keep moving. A little English today. A little more tomorrow. Another listening session later. Another conversation someday. Another story. Another sentence. Another word. Slowly, your English grows. And while it grows, you grow with it. You become more comfortable, more confident, more open, more willing to communicate, more willing to make mistakes, more willing to keep going. That is real progress, not perfection. Progress. Perhaps tonight you will remember only a few words. Perhaps you will remember nothing consciously. That is okay. The purpose of this peaceful session is not to test your memory. It is to surround you with English, to give your ears another opportunity to hear the language, to make English a little more familiar. And perhaps tomorrow, English will feel just a little easier. Maybe you will hear a phrase and recognize it. Maybe you will understand a sentence faster. Maybe you will notice the rhythm of a speaker. Maybe you will feel slightly more comfortable. Small changes are enough. They accumulate. They become habits. Habits become familiarity. Familiarity becomes confidence. And confidence makes communication easier. So continue calmly. There is plenty of time. You do not have to hurry. You do not have to compare yourself with another learner. Your journey is your own. Someone else may learn faster. Someone else may learn differently. Someone else may have more time. Someone else may have started years earlier. None of that changes your journey. You only need to continue from where you are. If you know 10 English words, begin there. If you know 1,000 words, continue from there. If you understand simple sentences, build on them. If you understand conversations, keep listening. Wherever you are, you can move forward. And every step counts. English is not a wall. It is not something that suddenly becomes impossible. It is a collection of sounds, words, patterns, ideas, and experiences. One piece connects to another. And slowly, the picture becomes clearer. Tonight is simply another piece, another quiet moment with English, another opportunity to hear, another opportunity to become familiar, another small step. Now imagine tomorrow morning. You wake up. The room is bright. The day begins. You may have plans. You may have work. You may have responsibilities. Perhaps you will speak to someone. Perhaps you will watch something. Perhaps you will read something. And somewhere during the day, you may encounter English again. Maybe just one word. Maybe a whole conversation. And because you have been listening regularly, that word or sentence may feel a little more familiar. This is how the language follows you. From night to morning. From listening to understanding. From understanding to communication. From communication to confidence. Slowly. Naturally. Without pressure. And when you make mistakes, keep going. When you forget a word, keep going. When you do not understand something, keep going. When you feel tired, rest. When you feel motivated, enjoy it. There is no perfect learning journey. There is only your journey. And your journey can be calm. It can be patient. It can be enjoyable. It can be consistent. English can become something you look forward to. A story before bed. A podcast during a walk. A conversation with a friend. A film on the weekend. A few minutes of listening in the morning. A peaceful English session at night. All of these moments matter. Language is built through life. And the more English becomes part of your life, the more natural it can become. Maybe someday you will travel somewhere new. You will arrive at an airport. You will hear announcements in English. You will understand them. You will speak to someone at a hotel. You will ask a question. You will understand the answer. You will order food. You will talk to another traveler. And perhaps you will remember the days when English felt difficult. You will remember listening quietly. You will remember learning simple phrases. You will remember making mistakes. And you may realize that those small moments mattered. They were building something. Not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. That is the power of consistency. Small efforts can become big abilities. A A few words become sentences. Sentences become conversations. Conversations become relationships. And relationships create experiences. Language can change the way you experience the world. It can help you understand people you might never have understood before. It can give you access to information. It can help you travel. It can help you work. It can help you study. It can help you connect. But perhaps the greatest benefit is simple. You can express yourself. You can tell someone what you think. You can explain how you feel. You can share a story. You can make someone laugh. You can ask for help. You can help someone else. You can have a conversation. That is what language is for. Connection. And you are building that ability slowly. Tonight, you are listening. Tomorrow, perhaps you will listen again. Another day, you may speak. Another day, you may read. And over time, all these experiences connect. Your English becomes richer. Your understanding becomes deeper. Your confidence becomes stronger. Your fear becomes smaller. And communication becomes easier. So let English remain part of your life. Do not make it something you only touch once a month. Keep it nearby. Keep it familiar. Keep hearing it. Keep discovering it. Keep enjoying it. And remember that learning can happen quietly. It does not always look like sitting at a desk with a textbook. Sometimes learning looks like listening during a peaceful evening. Sometimes it looks like understanding a sentence in a film. Sometimes it looks like recognizing a word on a sign. Sometimes it looks like understanding a stranger. Sometimes it looks like realizing that you are thinking in English for a few seconds. These moments may seem small, but they are signs of growth. And growth does not need to be loud. It can happen quietly, just like tonight. The words continue. The English continues. And your mind becomes more familiar with the sounds. You can relax. You can rest. You can allow the language to continue. There is no pressure. There is no deadline. There is no need to finish everything. The journey continues tomorrow. And the day after that. And the day after that. One day at a time. One phrase at a time. One conversation at a time. One listening session at a time. Slowly, English becomes easier. Slowly, English becomes more familiar. Slowly, English becomes part of you. And perhaps that is the real secret. Not speed, not perfection, not complicated methods, just continued contact, continued curiosity, continued patience, and a willingness to keep going. So tonight, let yourself rest. Let the English continue softly. Let the words come and go. Let the sounds become familiar. Perhaps you will remember something. Perhaps you will not. Either way, this moment is part of your journey. Tomorrow is another day, another opportunity, another conversation, another story, another chance to hear English. And every time you return, you are building something steady, something useful, something that can stay with you for years. Keep going, keep listening, keep English close, and let your journey continue. Good night, rest well, let the English remain in the background. And whenever you return, there will always be another word to discover, another sentence to understand, another story to hear, and another small step forward. Keep going, keep listening, keep English close. Good night.